Welcome to the Private Practice Pro Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping therapists cultivate success. Here's your host, Kelley Stevens.
So, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Private Practice Pro Podcast. I'm so excited to have our guest, Nicole McCance, here. So, Nicole, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and just tell us, first of all, where you are, what your practice is like, and then also, I know you have a lot of training programs for therapists. So maybe tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to get into our conversation.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a psychologist who built a group practice in 3 years with 55 therapists. And I'll tell you more about that a little later. And then actually 2 months ago, or no, I guess it was June. So June 2022, I sold it, which was not on my radar, but that happened. And really getting that ultimate freedom was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm located in Toronto, although my business coaching program, I help and coach people a lot in the States as well as Canada.
It's amazing. I mean, I think this is so many therapists' dream, but it's actually something that I don't hear people talking about very often, and being able to do. So could you maybe just tell us, like, when did you get the idea, like, okay, I want to open a group private practice?
I was burnt out, like most of therapists.
Yeah.
So, and now, by the way, I don't practice at all. Of course,
Yeah.
I just do the business coaching. But okay,
Yeah.
So let's rewind. I loved being a psychologist, truly. I think we have the best job. I think that we get to make a difference in people's lives. Like, what is better than that? And we make a good hourly rate.
Right.
But fast forward 15 years of trauma and angry couples. And there was that. And then I was also really sick of hitting this ceiling where the only way that I could make more was to work more.
Right.
And then I got pregnant with twins. And so that was the moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, I live in Toronto. We need a bigger house and I cannot work more. What do I do?
Twins.
However,
I'm just imagining, like, as a fellow mom, did you have any inkling you were going to have twins? Like,
Never,
did you
no.
know? Do you have any twins in your family?
They're everywhere. I don't know. Like, my grandma's a twin. My cousins are twins. He has twin sisters, but we didn't have the conversation. I don't
Wait, you didn't suspect that maybe? Okay, so what was that? I mean, I know this has nothing to do with private practice, but it kind of does. Like, what was that moment like when you found out you were going to have twins? Like, I feel like I would panic.
Oh my! So, by the way, my husband wasn't there because I wasn't expecting anything. So I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go for an ultrasound. Don't bother coming. We're just going to make sure like there's a baby inside." Yeah, I know. And then she was taking a while with the ultrasound, and I'm like, "Oh no! Like, is there no baby? Like, what's going on?" And then she had a Russian accent, and she was saying, I was getting these twinges, and she was like, "You have twinge." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been getting twinges." She's like, "No, twinge." I'm like, "Twin." Wait. Are you saying twins? Yeah. So that's why I found out within my husband and then called him. And it was actually extra special to be the one that was going to change his life. Like, I know something that I'm going to tell you that will change everything.
Oh my God, that makes me want to cry. Like, yeah. Wow. I can't even imagine. I remember the moment when my OB said, like, okay, this is the moment if we find out it's twin. I don't have twins, but until that moment, it didn't even occur to me that it could be twins. And I was like, holy shit, like, it better, like, I could barely handle one. So, like, oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay, so you get pregnant with twins. At this point, were you already working in solo private practice?
I was solo.
Okay.
15 years in.
Yeah.
Just me.
Wow.
But here's the thing. There's nobody guiding us on how to build a group practice. No therapist. I really wanted to work because we're so regulated. I didn't want to work with just anybody, right?
Right.
So guess what I did? Well, most people do. I did nothing. I was like, okay, I'll keep trucking, kept seeing the clients. And fast forward, the twins came. Fast forward 2 years. They're now 2-year-olds and mommy's working every night until 7 p.m. to pay for our life, right?
Right.
And I just hit my rock bottom. Like, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I walked in exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people know exhaustion until they're a therapist. Like, it's just like a body.
Oh yeah,
It hurts.
it's totally, your face hurts. After doing therapy for a full day, my literally the muscles that I didn't even know existed in my face hurt.
I'm not the only one. It does. It actually hurts. And I have no more conversation in me, like for anyone.
Oh, 100%.
And so I remember just walking in and seeing my babies on the couch. And I just like broke down and turned to Dan and said, like, I can't, like, I need to hire. And so thank God he believed in me. And that was like the beginning of everything.
So at that point, did you hire on one per, like, what was the first step into group practice? Did you Google it? Like, how did you know what to do?
Oh my gosh, this is actually really funny. So I was like, okay, because I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
So I hired one person, and then 6 months later brought on 2 interns.
Right.
And I got it was nice what most people do. There was a space below me in my building. I was bricks and mortar. So I got a little office. And I was more interested in like, ooh, what's the waiting room going to look like? Right? And then my girlfriend texts me and says, hey, Nicole, I know you're opening up a group. Like, what business coaches like are you working with, or what books are you reading? And I was like,
am I supposed to?
0. And that was when I was like, wait, I actually have to train myself in business. And I got a coach, not a therapist, but I took everything I learned and then applied it.
Okay, so
to therapists.
That makes sense to me though, because when I feel like I know a lot of therapists, I know a lot of therapist coaches out there, and you are the only one that I know that does group private practice coaching. No one else wants to touch it, in my opinion. So like, really, like, who would you have contacted prior? I mean, I don't know who you would have contacted prior to that, you know?
And so this is so interesting. My second year, so the first year, honestly, it was like playing whack-a-mole. Like, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work.
Oh, sure.
And it was my second year that I got a business coach. Again, not a therapist one, but she was really good. And then she helped me. That's when I hit my first $1 million in group practice revenue. Right. And so it was in that moment that I said, I have to help other people do this. I didn't know that this was possible. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think people think it's not. Yeah. I think people think it's not possible. And so, okay. So then you had the group, and then did you expand to a second location, or because you went from 0 to 55 in 7 years or something?
3, my friend, 3.
That is incredible.
It is. I don't know. Well, you probably feel this on your Instagram. There are some things in life that are so meant to be that I felt like it was happening and I was being pulled with it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel that?
I 100% feel it. I'm like, wait, I talk to my husband about this all the time, where I'm like, it's shocking to me that people follow me. Like, we're literally sitting on the couch and he'll be like, you realize that like these, like, he's like, do you think these people think you're cool? Cause like, you're not cool. Like, like you're sitting here like in your pajamas, you know, and I'm like, well, I don't know, like whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it feels sometimes like this is like it's happening, and it's I'm helping it happen, but also it just feels really natural.
Bigger than
I do
us.
understand
Bigger
that.
than us. Yeah. So in 3 years, I moved into a bigger location, and it was interesting that you bring this up because it was way bigger than where I was. So I had 4 therapists, and it was this beautiful office with 6 or 8, because we went from all the way to 24 rooms, and then we would just double up in the rooms.
Right.
So it was 6 or 8 rooms, and I actually teach my members that don't make your decisions where you are. Make your decisions from where you're going to be 2 or 4 times bigger than you are. And I don't think I would have grown if I didn't have that big office, because where would I put the people?
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that makes so much sense. But did you ever, like, were you afraid at all? I mean, obviously you had to take on this big lease, bigger than maybe you needed.
Yes.
So that had to be a little scary. I don't know. Were you scared or no? Or
so, yeah. So I'm afraid, like, of course I was scared, but I learned something from my coach. She had a podcast, Love Podcast. Yeah. And there was this one, I feel like podcast episodes can literally change your life. There was one episode.
Totally.
She was a single mom, multimillionaire, talking to another person who had reached that level. And they were talking about do it scared. do it scared.
Yeah.
And so I trained myself and I trained my members that fear doesn't mean you stop, even though it's a survival mechanism. And so it naturally wants us to freeze. And it doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong or you shouldn't do it.
Right.
So that really helped me feel the fear and do it.
Mm-hmm. And then you did it anyway. Yeah.
And a really good therapist.
Right? Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to the point that you have 55 people working for you. And so then how did it come about that you sold? Were you looking to sell it? Did someone approach you? Like how did that work?
And this is another example of like life just, it's happening. So last year, this time, so we're, in the fall. And it's like, I would have not have just sold it because somebody else approached me, like a hedge fund. I was like, no, this is therapy.
Right. Yeah.
So a really amazing psychiatrist reached out to me. And he had already bought a friend's clinic. And she's like, it was amazing. I'm 6 months out. They did everything they said. They give everyone benefits. They were a conglomerate. So they had the money. They gave everyone $1,500 in education training. So because of that, and I don't even know if I would have did it if I didn't have a friend who had gone
done
through the process.
Yeah.
But at first I said no, because at first it was like, this is mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You would have worked hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But I felt like that was a knock on the door. And like, that doesn't happen in many lifetimes. Like, really? So, So I said,
that's wild. Okay. So you sold it. And then how has your life changed since you sold that group?
Well, that's why. So I was like, what do I do now? Because here's the thing. You sign a non-compete, by the way. Everyone listening.
Of course. Yeah.
If you sell your clinic, you can't, I was never going to open up another clinic, but you actually can't do therapy either. So I was like, oh my
interesting.
goodness.
So you can't even have like a solo private practice if you wanted to.
I could, they would want me to, for 2 years, no, or I could do it in their clinic, but who wants to work in their own clinic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just, but here's the thing. I had stopped seeing clients just before the pandemic. So I felt like that was done. I had stopped supervising.
Yeah.
I was really, when you're that big, you just need to be clinic director, right?
Oh, of course.
And so I had this feeling that my next mission was business coaching and showing people the roadmap, like exactly what to do.
Right.
And so it has blown up. So I'm just as busy, unfortunately. But it's fine because I love it. So my life hasn't changed that much, except now I work with therapists. Yeah.
How has it changed for you? So when you think back on like that night that you came home and you were like burnt and ready to change and seeing your sons, like how has motherhood changed for you at all?
Oh my gosh. I'm like so present now.
Yeah.
Oh, like so present. I am committed. You might ask me later about like self-care.
Yeah.
I don't work past 3:30 and I never will. And here's why.
Yeah.
I think because I built a clinic and was able to sell it, I'm like, I deserve a different life now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Yeah. Why did I do it that? So yes. So I just don't miss a thing. I don't miss a thing.
Mm-hmm. That's you. And I mean, I think that that's something that like, as therapists, we often think we're going to have to sacrifice, those evening slots are, and especially I know for me, I work with teenagers, like those are prime time. And as a mom, that's also, I mean, that 3 to 8 p.m. time is also, it's like two conflicting responsibilities, So, I mean, that makes me want to cry. That's so cool. It's so cool. And as a mom, I feel like I get that on so many levels. So, but yeah, okay. So tell me your self-care. What do you do for self-care then? How does that all fit into this?
Yeah. So I don't know if you're a morning person, but I get up before the world does, before anybody bothers me. I think that is so key. So I'm up at 5 and I do 2 things that if I don't do, I'm not as happy and I'm not as nice. And one is meditate.
Yeah.
I just have to for my personality. And 2 is yoga, like power yoga, hot. It needs to be hot, just get me in my body. And it's,
do you go somewhere to do the hot? So then you get up at 5 and then you'll go to like some workout class and then at like 6:30 or something?
Yes. And the kids get up at 7 and I'm home by then. Exactly.
Wow,
Yeah.
I wish my kid got up at 7, dude.
Oh,
He's up at like 5:30, toddler
no
land.
way. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I
I have this like light that turns
Yeah.
green. So they're trained. Don't leave your room until it's green.
Oh my God. Okay, I have that light. The hatch one, right? Anyway, we'll talk off air. But I need to train him to do that because we're like 5:30, like, Mom.
Then you have no time. Right.
Yeah, but I'm the same way. I love the morning. I do the same thing except for I'm up at 4 because like mine gets up earlier. But like I need that. If I wake up at the same time as my son, I'm a totally different person versus like I get up. For me, I actually like doing a little bit of work in the morning, which maybe isn't the best way to start the day, but I like to have like work, coffee. I answer a few emails. Sometimes I make some Instagram content like real early in the morning. It was why I probably look tired always on Instagram. But I love having that time in the morning to myself.
Yes, it is key.
Huge.
And I find like most successful people get up before the world. It's really,
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just that time. So, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about your program and just because first of all, like I said, I don't know any other people that literally walk people through how to open a group practice and how to do what you did. And also like, I think, I always tell people this when they're looking for coaches or consulting, like you need to find someone that did what you want to do.
Yes.
And like
got
how
the
many
results that you want.
Yeah. Because like otherwise, what are they teaching you? And I'll be honest, like I don't know anyone else who grew to 55 therapists in 3 years and then sold it. Like no one.
Me neither. Yeah.
So,
which is why I kind of fumbled. And I tell people, like, save your money. Let me do the trial and error. I did it. I'll just give you the roadmap.
100%. So tell us just a little bit about your program and how that works. Like if somebody decides, okay, I'm ready to open a group, they call you, just tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Yeah. So it is a 6-month program called the Clinic Roadmap. And it includes weekly coaching with me, which is really important.
Awesome.
I do have 2 groups because I work with a lot of Americans and the healthcare system is so different. So there's an American group and a Canadian group. And they bring all their questions.
Awesome.
But it's also in a group, I will say, why I was able to reach 7 figures in my second year was I saw other people doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done it. They normalized it for me and they were just like me, young kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, if she could do it, I could do it. So I create that space for others every single week.
I love that.
And they have an accountability coach because we all know some personalities just get excited and then run. And then so what is really cool, what I love is I give them all the templates, which I'll get to in a sec, but the accountability coach can see if they're actually doing the work. You can see inside the digital course.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Yeah. So they answer, there's 3 coaches and they answer all the questions in between the group coaching with me. Because there are hundreds of questions. Like that's the thing.
Trust me. I know.
Right? Yes.
I get those emails.
So the accountability coaches. And then I think the most exciting thing for me, the thing I'm most proud of is my group practice was automated. It was streamlined. So, and I have all the procedures is like 70 of them because people don't know the interview questions to ask. And it starts there. It all starts with hiring the right person. If you hire the wrong one, it's a really big headache.
Yeah.
And hard to come back from.
So tell me more about like the procedures part of it. So you're saying like there's 70 or 70 plus procedures that you're just giving them the templates for. How does that, and they're learning how to implement it, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah. So I teach people to have manuals. Otherwise you're going to get questions all day long from your admin and all your therapists.
Yeah.
And guess what? I've already created a manual that I know works. So I will just give you mine because I know my personality. If I have to create something from scratch and I have twins at home and all the things, I will never find that time. Like if you were to say,
oh my God,
all these
I
processes.
cannot even imagine. I can't
it's so
I can't
frustrating
imagine
too.
having to do that. Yeah.
Right. But if someone gives me a template, I work I'm like done.
Yeah.
Like customize and done.
Right.
So I give them the contracts because a lot of people don't know what to ask and it's all very important. Get the contract right, please.
100%.
I would say 50% of the people in my program are like, okay, I gave the wrong contract, but at least I have the right one now.
Right.
Social media manual, but more importantly, the marketing plan. Because I was able to hit the 7-figure mark, I'm going to tell you exactly how I got there. There's wrong things to do and right things to do.
Oh, 100%.
So they get all of that. Yeah.
I mean, that is literally incredible. As somebody who creates content in this space, I know how much work that is. That honestly, and not even blowing smoke up someone's ass, that would take years. Literal years for someone. Yeah. And it did for somebody to try to replicate on their own from scratch. And I, to be honest with you, obviously work with a lot of therapists, and I've seen a lot of people try to make group practices thinking in their minds, this is going to be less work for me. And actually it becomes more work for them because they don't have the templates. They don't have any automation. They don't know what they're doing. They're spending thousands of dollars on lawyers' bills. And they're burnt out. And then they stay burnt out because they thought they were creating a group in a sustainable way, and they didn't.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this is it's amazing. It's really amazing. So yeah.
And there's more.
Tell us.
In addition, so I also, here's the thing though. I can coach you. I can give you accountability. I could literally give you the exact roadmap. But mindset, I noticed, I added mindset in later, gets in the way. Imposter syndrome, all the things. So they do have access to a mindset coach. And then the next level problems I noticed, because what I'm noticing, and please, anybody who gets a coach, work with somebody who's constantly tweaking, because I'm constantly tweaking based on the needs of the members. Right? And so I noticed that leadership also was very, very scary, because it's I don't know, can I tell you what to do, or I micromanage, how, what do I do? And so they get a leadership coach, an HR coach, and a finance coach, because people don't know. Or let me rephrase. Therapists don't know what profit is, what cash flow is. I didn't. So we have a finance coach.
That's so true. I mean, I think so many of us as therapists went into this field and had zero finance training and are all of a sudden running businesses and what do we do?
Yes, exactly. So it's basically an MBA for group practice. Here's all the business stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so if people want to enroll, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way, I think, would just to find me on Instagram, Nicole.McCance, MCCANCE method. Yeah,
awesome.
And just DM me. Send me a DM. I'd love to chat. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. And we'll put all of the link to your group program and everything in the show notes, so that you'll be people who are listening to this can find you. So, okay, the last thing I want to ask you is, if someone is feeling I don't know if I can do this, they're doubting themselves, what's one thing you want them to know about group practice?
Please hear this, that you and I are not different. I really believe that if you have a roadmap or formula, and here's the thing, CBT, the B in CBT works, because if you do certain actions, you'll get certain results. Please know that we're not different, and that if you just have, a formula, you will get the results that you desire. And what I love about that is when I got that, it removes the emotion piece, where it's okay, right? Which is so important. We need to remove the emotion piece, or we will never take risks.
And opening a group is a huge risk. And I love exactly, that's why I love a good template. I mean, I feel like we share this in common. And that's what I love about your program, is that there are templates that people can literally take a little of the emotion out of it and be okay, here, Nicole is going to give me this step by step, which is amazing. I love a good step by step. I wish I had one for parenthood.
Right. Same.
If anyone could create that would be great. I would buy that offer. All right, Nicole, thank you so much for being on. I can't wait for more conversations. I hope you come back, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
This podcast is sponsored by Simple Practice. I've been using Simple Practice since 2016, which has helped me run a smooth and profitable private practice over the years. It has simplified everything from scheduling to billing, giving me a better balance between the work I'm so passionate about and the family time I'm not willing to miss out on. Check out the episode notes to get a free 2-month trial of Simple Practice, my preferred all-in-one HIPAA compliant solution. All right, welcome back to everybody's favorite part of the show, or maybe it's just my favorite part, which is the Ask Kelley segment, where you can call in and ask your private practice questions. We'll put the phone number down in the show notes so you can call in too. And we will answer those questions right live on this podcast. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my phone right here, and I'm going to play today's voicemail, and let's answer the question.
Hi, Kelley. I started a private practice this summer and have just finally left my agency that I've been working for and started an Instagram for my practice and have gotten a couple questions about services outside of the state that I work in. And obviously, I'm not going to provide therapy, but there's other services within my niche that I think could actually be really supportive for some of the people that are reaching out that I do feel like I could offer. I wonder if you have any advice for how to provide that ethically, if there's any legal things to be thinking about. I've certainly started looking into it, but I would love to hear if you have any thoughts about that. Thank you so much. I love what you do, and I really appreciate it. Bye.
Okay, awesome. So this is a question I get a lot. So I'm just going to kind of recap this person's question. So what they're asking is, they have an Instagram following. People are reaching out from out of state. It sounds like there are some services that they feel like they can offer that are not therapy to people out of state. And how do they do that, taking law and ethics into consideration? All right. So there's some things in this you probably don't want to hear. And there is kind of a way to do this by the book and a way not to. And we're just going to stick to the way to do it by the book. So the first thing you need to think about is, do you need to open a separate business? I've asked a couple attorneys about this. And again, I'm not your attorney. And I actually suggest on this type of topic that you do talk to a small business attorney. But it seems like the rule of thumb is, yes, you would need to open another separate business entity to be able to provide those services. And here's the reason why. Your therapy business, you're providing a licensed service under. And so in a way, and here's the reason why. In your business, you are providing a licensed service, which is therapy. If you decide to provide coaching or workshops or something outside of your therapy license, then you would need a separate business entity to really protect your therapy business. And so you would need to file another business, whether you're an S Corp or an LLC or something else. You would want to open a separate business to do this. The other thing you would need is separate malpractice insurance. So if you're not practicing under the scope of your license and providing therapy, you're going to need a different type of liability insurance. And so most of the liability insurance providers, probably the one that already provides your malpractice insurance for your private practice, would be able to insure you for other services, but you would need to get more insurance for that. The other thing that you need to think about too is, how are you going to bill it? So if you're, and again, I don't know exactly what this other service the person is providing, but you right now be using some sort of therapy billing program. I know for some of my coaching services, I use PayPal and I bill it separately. I don't bill it in Simple Practice, which is, I love Simple Practice and I use them a lot normally. So that would be something to think about too, is how are you going to bill it? And the last thing I would definitely consider with this is, you're going to need separate paperwork. So right now you have paperwork that is for your therapy practice. If you don't, I sell paperwork. You can check it out on my website. But you need separate paperwork. So if you're doing coaching or you're doing something else, maybe you're selling online courses. Again, depends on the service you're doing. But if you're doing coaching, you need separate coaching paperwork. If you're selling online courses or online materials, you're going to need terms and conditions. A good attorney can put all that together for you. But those are the things I would think about. And congratulations to this person for building a big enough Instagram following that they're getting some cross-state inquiries. I think that is awesome. And I hope this answered your question. If you would like to be featured on Ask Kelley Anything, I love getting listener questions from you guys. Anything about private practice goes. And the best way to do that is actually just to give me a call and leave me a question on my voicemail. So I'm going to tell you the phone number right now and make sure to write it down. Here it is: 805-243-8241. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.